Awkward. Hey guys, I guess for anybody who's going to be broadcasting afterwards, because it seems like a good deal if you guys do actually check out the live streams after the fact. I guess today I don't really have a topic for a live stream, honestly. I guess other than just to check in with you guys real quick, and to say that I know that I'm set to do that four piston racing video, and I'm going to do that today. I promise. It's just it's not too often anymore nowadays that I'm really like at home for the weekends, like just all the way through it. So been taking the time to do like movie marathons and shit, catch up with with my wife just on a personal one-on-one thing, and plus I didn't feel 100% like I was ready yet to do that four piston video, because I mean it's probably not gonna be very long, but I want to go into it in depth, and I wanted to have a little bit of extra information to bring into it. So yeah, if you're watching this after the fact, then it's probably already out at that point. Also, I do have some other discussion-y type videos to talk about, or as was recently pegged as just an internet automotive blogger here, or vlogger. I guess, yeah, vlog because it's video. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I guess, after thinking about it for a minute, I'd kind of kept myself in denial about the fact that that's what the channel really was, but it pretty much has been. And like I said in, nothing really too much, Mr. Carlos just fucking decided to pop in and see if I can get anybody's attention. Yes, chubby, that's the way to go nowadays. I'm not trying to stay chubby, though. Hey, what's up, Mr. Andy? It's cool that I could take you away from your Evo for a second. I'm jelly. You got an Evo. I want an Evo. Oh, so anyway, like I was saying real quick about there, that fucking the whole direction of the channel, I guess this is mostly like a car vlog type deal, and it's just because, like I said before, it's off, honestly, most of my shit. God damn, fucking Carlos, you're always at work, man. What the fuck are your days off? And that's simply being the fact that this channel is only alive at this point. Like, I'm only still doing this channel because you guys are asking questions, and it's an interactive thing. I don't really have any car friends here, so this is my only way to vent car stuff, because nobody else knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Even the people I work with, they're all like, some of the car enthusiasts that I have that I work with are just guys that drove things from like the 30s. That's way beyond me. I don't do things past 1980, or 88, I should say, because I don't fuck with anything beyond that. So yeah. So anyway, well, I think that most of you guys are here long term are already cool with the fact that this is what I do. Most of you guys found the channel because this is what I do, not from what I thought it was going to be, what I wanted it to be, which was mostly tech stuff, as in hands-on. Well, that's cool, Carlos. Thanks for coming in. Honestly, Mr. Carlos, I've put a cable tranny in all of those older cars. I've put a cable tranny in EGs. I've put a cable tranny in EKs. My old blue SI, if you dig through my pictures on VHP Engines, you'll see that car, I also had a cable tranny in it at one point in time. I usually tend to lean towards the cable trannies because they're only like $150 for the most part. So yeah, you can do it. You just got to get the kit for hydro to cable, which is actually not too expensive and very easy to mock up. Very simple and straightforward. And if your other question is, what's the drawbacks to using cable tranny? The cable tranny is supposedly not built as strong as a hydro tranny, but I've had a cable tranny on a 400 plus horsepower car and never had problems. Oh, thanks for stopping by, Mr. Rabble. Also, I might do like a really quick video sometime next week about just basic engine swap shit. Simply because of the fact that I got some questions again recently about how to do swaps and stuff. I guess maybe I could take a real quick take on it. Although it really isn't as complicated as some of you beginner guys may think it is. I'm sorry, I distracted you. There's some weird shit that's popping up on Facebook here. The crank bolt, I tell everybody, Mr. Scott, is like the most difficult shit ever when it comes to building engines. It's always the crank bolt that gives the problems. Sometimes you get lucky and you can break it loose, depending on the last time somebody else had it off before you. But if you've got one of those crank bolts that have been on there for like fucking 15, 20 years undisturbed, they're difficult. Here's some things you can try. There is actually a tool for that, but I'm not going to talk about that. What you could do is you can take a big fucking mallet, a heavy mallet, and smack it. But make sure you're right centered on there. You don't want to mushroom it out. That's cool, auto to manual swap. Yes, definitely do that. We don't want to keep auto Hondas. You take that big mallet and you smack the fuck out of it good and hard on that bolt. You smack it again a couple times, and if you've got an impact gun, take your impact gun on there and try it. Back and forth, back and forth. That might do it if it's been loosened sometime within your lifetime. If it hasn't been, honestly, then you got to take it to a place where they have a very good air supply, like a shop, and use one of their big guns. I routinely take my blocks to work with me when I have to break a crank bolt, and sometimes I use like a 3/4 inch impact gun, like a really big fucking gun with fucking high amounts of shop air flowing through it to break it loose. It can be a difficult thing, man. It can really be a fucking pain in the ass, and but you might get lucky too, man. If you know anybody at a shop, then you're guaranteed that you can have somebody do it, because it only takes like fucking 30 seconds to do. It takes more time bringing out the hose reel and getting the gun and the shit than it does actually breaking once you have the right tool. Or if you don't know anybody, maybe you get lucky, you pass by like a tire shop or whatnot where they have air. Maybe you can talk somebody into doing it for you for free, or maybe pay like a little quick money for somebody under the table to get it broke loose. But it can be a pain in the ass, honestly. If you're gonna do engine building on a regular, you definitely have to find a regular way to do it, because it's a mission almost every time. Sometimes I've got lucky. And also for an alternative way to do it, you can get a cheap Harbor Freight air compressor. But I had the $120 one where it's a stand up air compressor. Well, Mr. Chaparro, congratulations for you for doing that. But how many engines have you done? Yeah, everybody gets lucky every once in a while. When you've done like 12, 15, 20 engines and you've done it with that Milwaukee every time, then I'll definitely give you props. But anyway, what I was saying, yeah, that's what I figured. So as far as what you could do, you could go to Harbor Freight and get a tank. Sometimes you'll get lucky and that air compressor will be enough to fucking knock it off. Or then you can just repeat the steps like I said. You can fill up the air compressor, use the biggest gun you can get on there, and give it a couple whacks with the mallet. And sometimes you'll get lucky there. I've had my Harbor Freight tank take off a couple, but when I moved, it didn't do enough for me to worry about bringing it, so I left it behind. I just take it to work. That's the only place I have no problem. As a matter of fact, if you go through my Instagram pictures, you'll see one of the guns I had to use at work, and I had 3 different big old air impacts that went on that crank pulley for that K20A3 I did, and it took the biggest gun we could find in the shop to eventually break it loose. Yeah, dude. The only time those electric impacts, even a good electric impact, works on those fucking things, is if somebody has had that off recently. Because what happens is you're supposed to torque the fuck out of those bolts to put them back on, and nobody ever does. What most people do, even myself, when you go to put that crank bolt back on after you build the engine or you got it off, you just hit it with an impact gun. So it's not the proper torque, and it's gonna come off a lot easier. No, I haven't done an E85 video yet. I mean, eventually I will. But honestly, guys, is like the reason why I haven't done that is for the reason why I don't really talk about shit over 500 too much. And that's just because of the fact that I consider E85 race gas until it becomes available at every fucking gas station. But I mean, if you have some specific E85 questions you want to ask right now, let me know. And I'll answer them the best I can. It'll be like a cheat. Normally, I don't want to fucking answer questions for something I plan on talking about. But this will be one of those occasions where I'll break that rule. Because I do plan on doing an 85 video, but not anytime soon. I'm not going to do a 3-stage VTEC for D15. I've talked all about the D15 or D series as much as I'm going to. Gas lines, you can use your regular fuel lines. You don't need to upgrade that. You just need to be able to upgrade the fuel pump and injectors to compensate for the demand of fuel you're going to have when you switch to E85. Because that's one thing that a friend of mine had a problem with. He on 93, he tuned on 93, and he had plenty of injector left to go. Because you have a duty cycle for injectors, and once I think it's 80%. Once you get to 80%, I don't remember off rip, but I think it's 80%. Once you get to 80% duty cycle, you don't want to tax the injectors anymore because it'll, there's a chance that you'll lean out or whatnot. But when he had plenty of injector life left when he was on 93. He switched to E85. He switched to E85 and he was like up to 113% duty cycle. So you got to get better flowing injectors if you're gonna get anything out of E85. And of course, the injector size you need is based on what your power goals are. It still works the same if you're gonna be on pump. It's just like you're not gonna have the same results. That's cool. Meth injection. I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, that shit works, but when you do that meth injection shit, it's almost like fucking nitrous. Mm. Any more E85 questions, guys? Yeah, your mechanic screwed you over, dude. Usually when a fucking engine smokes, it's because of the rings, not because of valve seals. As a matter of fact, as anybody who's ever complained to me about an engine with the smoking has never been in the head. Never. Personally, I think you can have a leaky valve stem seal or whatnot, and it wouldn't be enough for you to really even notice. The holes are fucking tiny, for your valves and shit. You'd have to have the whole fucking valve train fucked up for it to really throw kinds of smokes like people are seeing. Yeah, I saw that, John. I saw it the other day. I didn't really watch the whole video, but he broke a rod in half at 10-1. And a 10-1 pass. I don't understand. Like, how much fucking power is he making? Right around 500? He's still making around 500? How many years are you going to fucking keep running at the same power level and expecting to get better and better times? He's like almost like Jesse with that shit, dude. I don't understand what Albert's doing, man. It's fucking 10-1 is his best pass. In 4 years, it's still in the tens. Bro, switch up your game. Turn up the boost or something. Find a new tuner. I don't know. Got to get more power. If you're not making any better times and you've already got your driving skills as maxed out, which he has to, then he needs more power. So you're going to do a small turbo, small power, and do meth. Have fun with that. 686. So how much? He's making 686? John, confirm. He's making 686 wheel horsepower? Okay, that makes me feel better than 9.7 because I saw somebody say 10.1 was his best, which was fucking, oh my god. So he's making 686 horsepower. Okay, alright. That also makes me feel a little better. I was like, dude, because how you been trapped in the fucking tens for half a decade? That don't make no sense to me. Carlos, ITR cams over aftermarket, boosted LS VTEC setup, better just pick some Skunk 2s. No, I always think GSRs are the way to go because GSRs are just below ITR and you don't have to change to a titanium valve train if you're going to do that. If you're going to go with some aggressive aftermarket cams, you're going to have to switch up everything in your head, and I personally don't think it's necessary. I talked about that in a video where I talk about when you need to upgrade your head. It should be in the turbo playlist. If not, it's in the shop talk, but it's not that hard to find. Stock type power tranny with carbon synchros. Yeah, your water meth isn't gonna make your D series any safer. I don't understand how some of you guys have been watching this channel for so long and you don't understand what the strength and weaknesses of an engine are at this point. Yeah, there are a lot of Civics in the junkyard. I love that. I like picking their bones. No, you want longer years for boost. Was it Indio? Let's see. As far as the I don't know which the fuck, I don't know which codes are which for the single cam trannies, but I do know that the non VTEC transmissions are the ones that have the longer gears, so that's the ones you want to pick up. But in the end of the day, honestly, when it comes to single cams, I'm not too picky on that. But so 9 weeks ago, 993 is best. I don't know, not bad for street car. It's John. It may be a street car. It may be streetable, but he never streets that car. I've never seen that guy daily that car anywhere. It's always trailered. And he only brings it out when he's on the track. That is, I'm respect, mad respect for the 9-second car because I don't think I'll ever have a car that goes that fast. Personally, will I build an engine capable of that? Yeah, but I don't know if I'll ever have a personal car that I have that'll be a 9-second car. But at the same time, too, man, if he only did it a couple of weeks ago, he still was half a decade in the tens. Uh, there's no Honda transmission as far as manual transmission goes that I would worry about braking until you get to the 500s. GT. Let me see. Let me read your question here. Best and cheaper to just get a high compression V20 block and get a VTEC kit, then rebuild my V16A2. Oh, it depends on what the build is. What are you trying to build? Like, if you're trying to stay in A, then yes, it would be better to do that than do your B16. 7K Zeal Camp. Oh my God, who was that guy? I can't remember who that guy was. Yeah, get the B20 block and do B20 VTEC, then you're going to get the most bang for your buck out of that. The B16 I would never recommend running in A. Yep, just throw a turbo on it. That's all you do. Stock is stock. There's no magic that you're going to wave over your fucking weak-ass little tiny rods. They're going to make it any stronger. What's up, Jared? Oh man, I remember way back in the day when I had to work on weekends. Fuck that shit. That sucks fucking dick. Well, I mean, technically I work sometimes on weekends. I was actually planning on going out to my shop and doing some cleanup there for some stuff. Matt, I have a whole video topic made on that. It's one of the videos that I have that's really famous on this channel. It's called How Much Power Stock. It's right at the beginning of my Boost playlist. How Much Power Stock Indefinitely. It's got a little kid on there and blue car. Watch that one. If you're talking to me, Devin, yeah, I would very much like to do a Vitara build. I just need I need an engine block, I need a crank, and I need rods. When I get those three things, I will be all over the Vitara like flies on horse shit. Whatever, John. A daily driver car is something you go everywhere in. Fucking, I get up in the morning, I get in my car, I drive it to work, I drive it home, I gotta go to the gas station, I go that. I gotta go to the grocery store, I drive that. My Hondas have all been dailyable. Easily dailyable. And I've dailied every one of them. That's a daily driver. Something that you park and drive every once in a while for shits and giggles. That's not a daily driver. Especially if you gotta use race fuel to get it around. It's not a daily driver. Can you get it? Can you drive that car all the way across country without having any problems or worries about a retune? No. Without having to worry about switching out tires? No. That car is a race car. And it's obviously a race car. I daily drove my 440 horsepower fucking Del Sol. That was I drove it from El Paso to Florida, and I drove it every day to and from work. Even drove my kids around it a couple times. Respect for him though. I mean, 9-second car, single digits. That's bro. That's crazy fast. Personally, I think one of the reasons why he's being held back on his passes is simply because of the fact that El Paso's got a high ass fucking elevation and dry ass heat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will, Mike. Pretty sure they bolt right up. The only thing that should be different between the K20 and the K24 is just the displacement. Same thing like a B series tranny will bolt up to a B20 or LS, B16, etc. Yeah, there's a John, like, even before I left El Paso and I was, watching Albert do his 10-second passes and shit and making over 500 horsepower. When I got back down to Miami, there was people at West Palm Beach with just like legit street cars with like drag radials, 480 wheel horsepower LS VTECs going to the fucking going out to the going out to West Palm Beach and doing 10-second passes there, just like it was no big deal. Yeah, that's cool, Mike. South Florida represent. Chrissy, more likely, that's crank horsepower, the 125. Sorry if I'm wobbling here. It looks like my fucking camera holder is fucking starting to give out on me. Normally I don't have to fucking poke my phone so much, but to see the comments. That's not true, Mr. Forbanger. You don't need ARP head studs to run a LSV or a B20V safely. The whole point of your head studs being stronger is that way your head doesn't lift off your block. That stock or that NA build is not going to generate enough force to lift that head off the block. The only time that you have to worry about that lifting off the block, one more time I'll say it, is when you start generating power up into the 400s. That's when, yeah, you'll get a head lift. The head lift equals blown head gasket equals tear it apart. Yeah, dude, fucking race cars don't do good in the desert. Which is also, again, makes, his times all the more impressive. The fact that he's fighting temperature and elevation. I'm sure that at 686 wheel horsepower, he'd be fucking doing flat nines at sea level. So how's the weather down there in Florida right now? I've seen a lot of fucking people on my timeline showing all kinds of shit that was all flooded out everywhere. I used to live in Davie before I came up here, and I seen the fucking drone footage of my old neighborhood underwater. It's kind of crazy. And Sawgrass Mills Malls, I'm actually one of my homeboys on there. My old shopmate Blake was on the fucking news up to his fucking shoulders in water in the parking lot, trying to save a car. Oh, shit. Yeah, I saw that. And it's funny because I just had family from up here just go down there. Yesterday they left. They just got down to Tampa. I'm seeing pictures of looking kind of hazy and overcast. Well, I could imagine Chicago being really humid, being next to the fucking giant ass lake. It is, right? It is next to the Great Lakes. So basically, a two mattress with a big ass airbag in the middle, blowing your ass out of sleeping. Huh? You're gonna have to translate that for me there, little Honda guy. I definitely don't know what you meant. Yeah. I remember when I first went back to Florida, it was in 2014, and I remember that year it rained a fuck ton. It seemed like it rained every other day for the entire year. That was depressing. And there's a lot of places down there that just don't know how to handle that extra weather. It holds it. It holds the fucking water. Yeah. People underestimate, man, stock OEM stuff. There's a lot of that shit that holds so much more power than, Honda ever really intended to. Yeah, I used to go to races out on 27. That's actually, Okeechobee is where I got my car life started. Oh yeah, of course the ARPs are a better clamping force, but they're not necessary. I wouldn't say under 350. I would never run a turbo system without a blow-off valve. There's actually there's a video that I just got circulated, I think probably by that racing channel or 1320 video recently, showing what happens when when a blow-off valve gets stuck. And I think he blew a hole in his fucking intercooler, like an enormous hole. Turbo kits are designed a certain way for a certain reason. Use the parts that come with it. And besides, I know a lot of modern cars don't have blow-off valves, but they have recirculators, so it still diverts the extra air that gets pitched off from boost. Yeah, I honestly I couldn't tell you where the strength of ARPs go to. I've never heard ARPs having a problem. Oh yeah, was it a used set when you got them though? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, honestly, guys, I'm down for any fucking block and crank because, the block and crank, of course, is the heart of any fucking build. I can buy aftermarket stuff, but cranks are expensive if you buy them on the internet, and so are blocks. So if anybody has blocks and cranks that they want to sell them or send my way, let me know. Yeah, there you go. There's another example. There's Mr. Mike. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, 7 years. 7 years with forced induction. That's pretty good. Couldn't complain. I've never had a build that lasted that long. Well, I'm not saying I've never lasted that long on a build. I've just never had one that I stayed with for that long. I think my Del Sol was that B16 I had in the Del Sol was probably the longest swap I ever had, and it still swapped in like 3 different cars. That's cool. I have 2 fucking B16 cranks right here that are good to go, man. If I had some fucking a B16 block, I'd be fucking building another engine right now, guys. Yeah. Yeah, the only problem with that Mr. Honda guy is if you're not gonna fucking throw it on a dyno before and after, you're not really gonna know how much difference it's gonna make. Although I really don't see it's gonna make much difference unless the the flow of air is much different through the Y7, the Z6, and the Y8. OEM fuel rail. I've never been able to tap out my OEM fuel rail. I probably wouldn't try to change that unless I was going 500 plus. All right, Mr. John. Yeah. As far as engine build goes, I was debating on going out and stripping on that K20 today. I think what I'm gonna do if I do fuck around in my shop at all today, I'm just gonna clean that other B18 block. One Piece is the greatest manga or anime ever, so there's that answer. But Naruto's good too. Of course, being one of the big three, it's good. Anyway, so I was saying, I would very much like to do a single cam block, and I've mentioned a couple times I might strip down the single cam I have and rebuild it, but I haven't really found motivation to do that just yet because I can't afford. It's really hard for me to buy anything extra aftermarket right now because I need to finish the Integra. I really need to buy all that shit I need for that first. So I'm not gonna probably be doing any other engine builds until I get the Integra back on all four wheels. You don't need to stunts. You don't need to overbore unless your sleeves are fucked up out of round or damaged beyond usability. You don't need to overbore. What's up, Mr. Carlin? Yeah, man. Okay, so a quick explanation for this fucking stupid ass fucking haircut. This fucking mohawk I have. All right, it goes like this. So I had a fucking part in my hair for a good long while. And you kind of, yeah, you can still see it. I had that fucking part there. And personally, yeah, 0.5 isn't going to make a difference. The 0.5 you shave off just because you want to clean up the cylinders. So if they're not damaged, you don't really need to worry about doing that. So... yeah, no problem, Studs. Okay, so about the fucking haircut again. I go in there and I tell the lady, I was like, look, man, I'm letting the part, I want to let it grow over. I want to be able to have my hair more uniform and all that good stuff. So I asked her to fade it up to about here and then blend it in. And what did this fucking bitch do? She cut me all the way up to the part again because apparently she needs straight lines to function in life. And then I was like, my hair is like, it's stupid. It's kind of like I got the part here and then my shit's down to here on this side. I was like, so I want it evened out. So instead of blending to here and shit and making it even to let it grow out, this bitch cut it all the way up to the fucking top again, bro. And made another fucking line. So now I'm stuck with this fucking mohawk. Unless I want to go like super fucking low on the hair. And I don't know, I think I'll probably just cut the back down really short again and then try to get somebody different to blend it properly. Yeah, it does look like fucking foghorn. But the good thing is most of the time, I really don't give a fuck how my hair looks. I've had my hair in a lot of stupid ways in the last fucking 5 years, so I don't trip on it too much. It's like, oh well, it grows out fast enough, I'll have it cut it again. GT, I hope you're a fucking chick, man. I can fantasize about it. Then if not, and you're a dude, whatever, still cool. Thanks, appreciate it. No, Mike, I can't. I can't do bald. I've only been bald one time in my adult life when I joined the army. I will never fucking do that again. For one, fat people don't look bald. And for two, I really don't look good bald. Yeah, my hair is crazy as fuck. You guys are a bunch of fucking trolls, man. Dirty ass motherfuckers. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. But, yeah, I'll probably do something with it. I'll probably give it another week or so. Because it's still kind of fucking short. But in the meantime... well, it's like the whole thing is like let it grow so that way you can fucking shape it, but I never put gel because I don't go anywhere. I just turned 30, Chrissy. Yeah. Okay, so Matt, as Mr. Will. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more videos today. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles. Matt, when I base my strength capabilities off an engine, I don't do it based off of anything other than the rods and pistons and the sleeves. The actual material of the engine and the components you're using in that engine. If you want a stronger block, anything past 350, you need to upgrade internals. Well, I'm glad you think so, man, because I've been feeling my age recently. Because I chill with family members that are like a decade younger than me, so. I'm starting to see the world through an older set of eyes, and it's tripping me out a little bit. Buck, yeah, I saw your comment, man, and I'm probably gonna make a video based on that or your message. The whole thing is, dude, is that whatever swap you're gonna put into whatever car, you just need, the distributor from the car it's going into, the harness from the car is going into, and a computer from the car is going into. It's really not a big thing, not a big science behind it or anything. Whatever your car is that you're putting that swap in, you need all that shit from that car to make that engine work there. You don't carry the harness and distributor over from the donor car. You just need all the stuff from the car it's going into. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right, man. Life starts now. I'm feeling that. I'm also kind of pissed off too because I was doing last year at this time. I was fucking in heaven, bro. The job was fucking perfect. I was making the money I wanted. I was like, fuck yeah. I had a certain goal when I got out of the army. I wanted to have a certain amount of money and shit by the time I was 30. And a couple months ago, it all blew up in my fucking face, and I'm kind of like restarting, or not a hard restart because I didn't lose the job entirely, but I'm doing a soft restart, and it's definitely made me rethink a lot of things in life recently too. And yeah, it's crazy. 30 has been not the best year I thought it was gonna be, but I can't complain too. I'm doing some personal shit. I traded out my money for personal shit, and the personal shit is pretty good. No, I didn't build engines while I was in the army. I started building them when I got out. I didn't have most of my time in the army spent overseas, to be honest. So it wasn't like the last 2 years I was in that I was actually stateside. And then out of those 2 years, only 1 year, not even a year, like 6 months, that I actually had a place where I lived where I could do the engine builds. So my last year in the army, I started really preparing myself to do the engine builds, and it wasn't until I was out and back in Florida that I really started. Plus, engine availability was a big thing too. When I was in Florida, I could, like I've said in my last live stream or whatnot or before, that I used to buy a different engine every week. No balls aren't in the toilet water yet. That's cool, man. That's up, Mr. Boosted. Yeah, engines are pretty simple, man. You just fucking just do it. Yeah, I'm trying, Miguel. I'm gonna keep trying here. Uh, Seems like the channel's not growing at a fast rate. I'll just accept that it's not anymore, and but I still have enough interaction from you guys where I feel the need to continue on. If I ever get to the point where my subs just top off or dip down and don't pick up again, then I'll probably stop. But if it doesn't happen, I'll keep up with it as long as people are here paying attention. Will the CRV throttle on a D16? I wouldn't say it's worth it. It's not good or bad, or it's not going to net you any big gains. I wouldn't pay $100 for a single cam train unless I was desperate. Yeah, this is actually had this. This was custom made. I made this while I was in Korea. I actually had two made. I had this one, the black one, and I had a traditional one made. Red and gold and all that shit on a blue shirt. But that sure, both of them are ragged as fuck and falling apart at this point. But I love it. It's because this is actual fabric on here that I had sewn on here, so it's not that like screen print shit that starts to crumble after you wash it a couple times. I fucking love these shirts. Carlin, I appreciate it if you are giving shout outs, man. I greatly appreciate that. It's hard for me to shout out myself because it just comes off looking like spam. Yeah, Buck. I'm gonna put my thoughts together on that and see, make sure I can cover everything because I don't want to make a 3 minute video and it not be fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool, Devin. I'm glad you are taking notes. El Duderino. As far as coming from just a guy who doesn't do engines, I wouldn't really worry about swapping anything. Honestly, just put the engine in and see where it works. If you have problems, then go from there. As from an engine builder's point of view, though, I don't put engines that I get from anybody in a car without rebuilding it. Yeah, whenever you get time, Miguel, I'm not going anywhere. Civic, you said right to shout out to yourself, by the way. Are you talking about on the VHP Engines page? There's actually a history there. This fucking guy. That's actually a good story. Daniel, I'm self-taught. I went to school at Western Technical College in El Paso for like 3 months. During those 3 months, one of those months was in a math class. The other 2 months was sitting around bullshitting. Chrissy, yes, I would turbo everything. Oh yeah, the shout outs to myself is it kind of looks desperate, man. You know, and this is the generation of haters where it's a popular thing to hate. So you try to give a shout out to yourself. Anybody does it. It can be fucking like Philip DeFranco, who's got 5 million subscribers. He comes on somebody's channel and tries to give a shout out to himself. All he's gonna have is people hating his fucking guts. People that would normally probably watch his shit wouldn't, just because of the fact that they're thinking that he's desperate and they don't want to feed into that. Um, I appreciate it, Carlin. I'm not gonna lie, man. There's a guy actually hit my channel the other day. Actually, got me shook pretty bad. Got me pretty steamed up. Fucking, somebody, like I said, it's a popular day and age to hate. And the guy told me I should fucking just shut my channel down, just stop doing these vlogs. I was like, what the fuck, man? Okay, like, it's like, really? Like the fact that some people are out there who just it seems like I have more than one person out there like that make it their business to just watch my shit just to dislike and leave negative comments, which I don't understand how the fuck you have enough time for that. If my shit's really that bad, how could you sit through it? There's people out there. There's plenty of channels like Honda Street Garage. I really appreciate Honda Street Garage for one thing. One thing I really like about him, the fact that he's really doing a lot of Honda shit, and there's not so many people out there doing that. And so I appreciate that channel existing. I just can't bring myself to watch it. Now, I'm not saying this shit is bad or anything. Just don't have any attention for it. So if I can't watch something that I think is good, but I just don't have the attention for it, how the fuck are there people out there that can bring themselves to watch some shit just to hate on it? I don't know. That's really weird to me. Yeah, that guy was a dick. That shit made me fucking mad, dude. That shit really pissed me off. Like, it doesn't make any sense. 450 injectors, he ain't gonna make shit. Your injectors are a big thing. Bump them injectors up, buddy, or he ain't gonna make no power. Yeah, I guess, haters, I guess the bigger the channel gets, the more of those fucking people I'll attract. That's good, man. That's good. That's good you got the cam switched out. Bro, did you ever try to use those OEM main bolts to retorque that crank? I appreciate it, Buck. Yeah, like I said, as long as I got you guys that I'm talking to, even if it's just a few of you guys, I'll stick around and do this shit for a good while. Mike, it possibly could, because there is a little bit more travel time for the exhaust flow. I've done that before. I've tuned on an open downpipe and then finished my exhaust, and I didn't notice any kind of power difference. And I even went back with a follow up with a tuner who plugged in while I was driving, and he never mentioned anything. So I would say you're safe to do that. You gotta get to that shit, man. You gotta find out what's up with that shit, or at least get them gauges so you can take your measurements and find out if your block is warped for real. It, dude, that's a really lazy way to do it, man. If you do it like that, you're just assuming that it's the bearings and not the block. And if you do that and you make that assumption, you could fuck something up. Just take the measurements, man. If you don't wanna just retorque the mains, then you need to find out what your journal clearances are. It would suck. Think about it this way, man. Look about how much time it's taking you to put this engine together. Now think about how much more time it's gonna take you to get it in that car and all that shit. Wouldn't you hate for that shit to blow up a week after you fucking start running it? Because your engine will force it to turn over. It'll for sure turn over under power. But force being the key word. Yeah, I wouldn't think that it did if you're matching the same size. Mr. John. Oh, so yeah, I mentioned that was a good story. My original hater, my OG hater, the hater before the haters. It's a weird story, man, because I was I met somebody asked me the other day on the channel on one of my videos if I do two JZ blocks and or why I don't if I don't do it. The main reason why I don't is because I don't have the money to buy it. But there was one point in time where I had a GSR crank and block that I traded for two JZ short blocks and a one JZ short block. And they were all fucked up. But of course, it was a cool trade for me because I wanted to, I would love to build one. I eventually had to get rid of them though. On coming up here, they were just way too heavy and too big to try and maneuver by myself on this fucking truck, so I didn't bring them with me. Kind of regret it now. I should have kept at least one. But anyway, the guy I got it from, it was some old fat dude from Boca Raton. And we were pretty cool, man. I drove up, met him, talked with him, had plenty of chats. I met with the guy on a different occasion because he wanted me to rebuild like a KA-24 or SR-20 or some shit. He got this, it was a built block. It was in the car that he bought, and it started making some noise, right? So I got in my truck. I drove up to this dude's house to where he had the engine already out of the car on the floor. And the first thing I did to check it before I did anything about trying to load it up was I spun the crank. The crank was fine. I mean, it spun freely, beautifully even. And so then he mentioned at the time that when they were taking the swap apart, the flywheel was loose. So it seems like the tap, 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 tap they were hearing wasn't a rod knock, it was the fucking flywheel. And I told him, I was like, look, man, I could take your block right now. I could take it home with me. I could open it up and check it out. I was like, he's like, well, how much will you do just to check it? I was like, well, it's still going to be the same rate because regardless, I have to take it apart and put it back together. That's an overhaul. And I was like, and I would love to take your money, but I just don't think that you need to do this. I think you just put it back in the car and you're good to go. And he was like, oh, man, bro, I really appreciate your honesty and all this shit. And he gave me $20 for gas. So I was like, fuck yeah, cool for me, And then I went home, called it a day. We had a good friendly talking relationship for a long time. Then comes the 2016 Trump elections. The guy made it his fucking goal to troll the fuck out of me until I would get mad and unfriend him. Don't worry, Mr. Civic. If it's buffering here, this is just a story, so you're not missing anything important tech-wise. But anyway, so the guy thought, he's like, I run off all these people on my friends list, and I'm going to fuck with you until you unfriend me, because it was that serious during the elections and all that shit. Well, I'm not that kind of guy that's going to tap out. And the fact that you told me you're trying to make me tap out was more of a reason for me not to. So eventually, I unfollowed him, so I didn't see his shit. He would come out and say stuff on my post, but I just would ignore him. Not a big deal. I know how to not be trolled. That's just not to feed into it. But eventually it came to the time where my car was stolen right before I came up here. And here he comes out of nowhere, out of the woodworks, talk about one word he commented. It was, and he just said karma. And that, for me, fucking threw me for a fucking loop, pissed me off, went all crazy, and then I said all kinds of horrible shit that had been pent up in me. And then he started stalking me on social media to talk shit, which is why you see his comment on the review. But yeah, so that guy wound up hating my guts, for absolutely no reason at all over politics. And I even still tried to, calm it down, try and bridge the gap there, but he wasn't for it. No, Carla, I still haven't done the fucking turbo rebuild yet, and I'm not gonna do it until like right before I put the turbo on the car. I'm not motivated to do it right now, honestly. Yeah, and so of course I still got to focus on putting the Integra back on all four wheels. It's been in the air now for I think a month or more. I think he was just saying that I was buffering still. I don't know why. I think that was on your side because my phone will tell me when I have a bad internet connection. And when you were telling me I was buffering, I didn't. So that time wasn't my fault. I might have something build related next weekend. I was going to do it this weekend, but my wife kind of held me hostage all day yesterday on a movie marathon. And it's not going to be a build, it's going to be a teardown. I'm going to do that K2083 teardown. I did the B series teardown, and the D series is kind of the same, so it's not really that much difference to show. So I probably won't ever do that. But I will do the K2083 teardown on camera when that time comes, which might be next weekend. As far as today, I think I might go out and just clean the B18 I have, the extra B18 block, and prep it, make it all pretty and shit. And I might clean a set of pistons and rods. But that's just because, like you guys, like you're saying, you have a build withdrawal. Me too. I haven't been out there in the shop and done anything meaningful in a long time. So since I finished the B18 with the B16 pistons, which I think was like maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, it was. So I'll do that 4-piston racing talk probably sometime after this live stream, and then I might go out and do that. But the thing is though about that, if I'm just doing a cleanup, I'm probably not going to film it because there's not really much to talk about there. I've already done a block prep video, so it would just be me sitting there and doing the exact same thing I've already done. All you need is a micrometer. That's like Miguel. I made a video on that showing you how you determine what size bearings and shit you need. If you've seen the video, then you should know that's just a micrometer. That's all you need. Yeah, if you want to take it a step further, dial bore gauge, but I've just used a micrometer. I'll even tell you which video it is. I'll find it real quick. Let me get that for you. Another one of those videos that's probably kind of important, but nobody watches. Where are you at? Where are you at?
Interested in it?
Yep. Let's see. Crank inspection and bearing clearance. I really want to talk about a K2083, but I really want to talk about the K2083 with the fucking, like the one I've built, but nobody's fucking done it, and I'm not going to be able to run that block anytime soon. If I fucking go through all the effort to putting a K-swap together, I'm going to fucking do a turbo one. Yeah, boosted Harbor Freight, $99 with a coupon, 1-ton cherry picker. That's fine. I'm sure that you do it differently than I do. I know there's a bunch of guys out there who pride themselves on not using a cherry picker to take out their swap. I think that's fucking stupid. When you can get a fucking cherry picker for $100, you're gonna tell me you'll go through the extra bullshit of fucking dropping the swap out from the bottom of your car and lifting the car 5 feet in the air instead of spending $100 fucking bucks? Yeah, I know, John. Yours is way different from the build that I want to talk about. But I can't really justifiably talk about it until I actually run the goddamn shit or find somebody who's running it. VHB stand for, huh? It's the company name, that's what it stands for. Doesn't stand for anything. It's just VHB. Yeah, it's Vasquez home built. Yeah, VHB engine is very hairy, bitches. I am not. I just shaved. Thank you very much, motherfucker. I am not hairy. Well, sure, John. I can send you a DM. But like I said, the K2083 build that I want to talk about is a K2083 completely stock K2083 with A2 pistons. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think I remember. Yeah, I remember seeing your last name. Yeah, you're Spanish, dude. But where are you at? Are you in fucking Canada, dude? accents kind of threw me for a loop there. I was like, huh? Yeah, I do, Buck. I can't. The hairy shit, man. Like, even this. You guys notice I'm usually fresh when I'm on camera too, man. I don't fucking. I can't. I gotta control where the hair is at. Yeah, John. That just John. Actually, the whole point of that build is to do a cheap ass K swap and still make K20A2 in A power. Because K20A2s are still really expensive, but you can take you can get an A3 long block for like $300 or $400. So if all you gotta do is swap out the pistons to get close to the same power, that's pretty good. Oh, you're in New Mexico? I was way off. As far south from Canada as you can get without being in Mexico. Yeah, shaving for the win. K24Z3. I don't remember the power level for the Z3 off the top of my head. Are you in the guard? That's cool shit, man. I honestly, right now, as some of you guys know that I've talked about a bunch of times, I am lifting right now. Right now, I'm currently lifting 225. I'm trying my ass off to get to 300 in the next couple of months. And I am shaping up, and I am cutting weight very slowly. My goal is to be Army eligible by the end of the year. I want to re-enlist for the reserves just because I wouldn't mind the extra bullshit paycheck. And I decided that I'm probably not going to move anytime soon, so it doesn't matter that if I don't have to worry about wrestling to switch units or whatnot if I do decide. John, I don't know about a Type R, but I'm pretty confident that a K20A3 with that compression bump will get you over 200 horsepower, 210, 220 with a tune and bolt-ons. Because I seen a K20A3, with just bolt-ons do like a buck 70, and that's pretty impressive considering how low the compression is. Weak sauce. It's not the point, man. The point is to do cheap power. If I can spend $300 on a K20A3 and like trade for A2 pistons, that's not weak sauce at all. If I want to build high power, I'll just slap a turbo on. Well, I did 5 years active duty. I've also been out since 2013, so 7, 6, 4. I've almost been out as long as I was in, and I wouldn't mind doing the reserve thing. Plus the fact that we could go to war with Syria like at literally any minute. It'd probably be better to be already in boots instead of getting picked up unwillingly. Oh, about my bench. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. Well, look here. As far as my benching goes, right? I started lifting in February. The whole first month, I stayed at 100 pounds or less because of the fact that I didn't have the money to go up in weight. I bought a very cheap bench that was limited at 100 pounds. A little skinny 1-inch bar, real tiny. So it took me a while to break into the 100 plus because I had to buy a whole new setup. I had to buy a new bar, I had to buy a new bench, I had to start buying plates. Yeah, shit is crazy, dude. I know I have a lot of homeboys that are still active duty and scattered throughout the duty stations all over this country, and a lot of them are all deployed to Kuwait. So it seems to me like we're staging for another war again, another official invasion. No, I hate diesel engines. I only do it because it pays a lot of money. Oh, okay. So anyway, about the weights. So I jumped from 100 pounds. I went to 135. So I got 245 pounds plates from 135. The people made fun of me within the fucking month. I was doing 185, and then I went from 185 to 225 within 2 weeks. And I have the 25 still sitting on the side. I was thinking about jumping to 275, but I tried. I'm nowhere near strong enough for that yet. It has taken me a lot more time to go from 225 up. So what I'm thinking about doing is next week when I get paid, going out and buy 215s and doing 255. So might be doing 255 soon. And according to a lot of people that I know that have done this lifting shit, I'm actually moving pretty fast in the weight territory. 375. Woof, that's a lot of weight. But my goal right now is at 300, just because I want to get my max at 300. But then after I hit 300, I'm gonna stop going up in weight, and I'm just gonna focus on building strength. Because even like right now, when I first started doing the 185, I dropped the bar several times on myself and almost killed myself. But within just 1 week of doing the 185 from the get go, I was able to do like 5 sets of three reps, and now I can easily do like 8 reps, or 8 reps per set, and I do 5. Yeah, I'm gonna get fucking 300, and I know I have the shoulder width and build to be a monster. I've said that for years. I was just always too scared to fuck with it. But now I'm fucking on that shit like hard. I'm addicted to it like a motherfucker, like no joke. That's pretty good, Buck. So yeah, I'm gonna get 300. Hopefully, my goal right now is 300 by I think the end of August. If I can do 300, even just 1 rep, boom. Then I'll go back down to 275, and I'm just gonna work on building strength endurance there and shit. But yeah, it's really fun. I don't think I'll ever stop, and I actually kicked myself in the ass for never doing it while I was enlisted. It was crazy. I should if I'd have been lifting while I was still in the army, I'd probably still be in the army. Because my shit was to stay small enough to stay in while I was in. I did a lot of cardio, just running all the time, and that shit's mad boring. So it was hard to maintain that kind of attitude to keep after it, especially like when it was coming time close for me to reenlist, and some of my leadership was kind of being like, shady and shit. I was just like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm just gonna get out. And I don't regret it. I don't regret my ass to. I don't regret getting out when I did. I would have never wound up here where I'm at if I hadn't, let my shit run up. But at the same time, I think that I could, fuck with some reserve shit. I would like to do boxing. I'd like to do some boxing training if I could find that free time. As far as putting a bag here in my house, I don't think I want to do that. Take up too much space if I put it on the floor, and my ceiling's not strong enough to do it from there. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. I mean, I within the first 3 months, I started packing on noticeable. That was like definitely a noticeable shift in muscle. Yeah, I would love to do MMA training, but there's none of that shit here. I've already checked. I have considered putting in the shop, Buck. My cousin, she just started working out with me this past week, and her sister is gonna start coming after they get back from vacation. So I'm gonna have 2 people working out with me there. My aunt is also mentioned working out, so I might have 3 people here. And then from those 3, then I have another cousin and his wife that might want to jump in. So I might have to move out to the shop eventually if I want to be able to fit all these people in my house at the same time, or I'll be running like a quasi gym from the crib, and I'm gonna have different shifts. Yeah, boxing would probably be really good cardio training. And that's another thing. I did Taekwondo in Korea for like a year or so, and that shit kept me slim as fuck, and it was really fun. Yeah. Plus, I think it'd be something good to get my son into also. He's always trying to fight somebody. Might as well, or he's always trying to fight me. He's fucking nice as fuck to other kids. He's always trying to beat my ass, so get him somewhere to channel that anger, channel that focus. Well, I almost threw up. Well, I passed twice, the past couple of days, but that wound up being, I think, I'm pretty sure that the new amino acid I got was fucking me up. Like, it fucked me up bad. Yes, Buck. That's also a big thing. That's once I crossed over to the 200 pound range, I realized like how serious the weights are getting, and I've dropped the 225 on myself once. I overestimated my strength and my capabilities, and I've dropped it. So I definitely don't lift anymore with the locks in place. That's for one. That's for a safety precaution. But yeah, I mentioned that to my cousin too, because she's like, "Oh, I don't want to bother you, bringing you, having you drag me across town or whatnot." I'm like, nah, it's cool. It's definitely good to have somebody there to make sure I don't die. So I'm happy, definitely happy to have a spotter. Um, I I would say as far as compression goes, if get try to stay close to what stock compression is. Whatever the normal compression would be for the engine that you're running, try to stay close to that. And I know that it's kind of hard when most of these fucking companies make generic low compression or high compression pistons. But generally speaking, you can get close to the tens in compression. That would be pretty good to go with. Plus, it won't be too complicated to tune. Yeah, what John said, 10-1, 10-5-1. That's real good. That's the sweet spot for turbo compression, I'd say. Yeah, I don't know. My kid trips me out, man. I see him sometimes with other kids, and it's like he's so fucking calm that I'm worried that he's gonna get bullied trying to be accepted by people. But with me, he's always fucking hard as fuck to fight. It's crazy. Daniel, it seems to be like I've been doing it once a week now recently, even though I kept saying I wasn't gonna do it. I don't mind doing it either. Of course, I'll sit here and bullshit for a while. I got nothing better to do. Um, I'll it's it's random. I don't really have a set date for the live streams, but I'll try to give you guys a heads up when it's close. When the time's coming close. No, Chrissy. 10-5, 10-5, 10-1 is still kind of close to stock compression. So you just run 90, run whatever your regular premium is in your area. Run that. Yeah, Jared, that's fine. You just don't want to go less than you don't want to go into the eights. Like there's pistons out there that are like 881. You don't want that shit. That's too low. And even then, I'm okay. To be clear, you can still make good power on that. It's just not the power band's not going to be as linear. Yeah, if you got 95 and it's in your area like on a regular, then definitely grab it. That's why I say whatever your premium pump is, you want to run that. And you don't have to run. You can run premium fuel on your compression all the way up until I would say 14. Now, once you cross from 13 to 14, I wouldn't try to run regular gas on that anymore. I might. That's I was talking about. I've mentioned people have asked me a bunch of times about doing a fuel video. I think that I might wind up doing a video on that, but I might do like fuel and compression together, so that way the video is not like 2 minutes long. Yeah, take care, Daniel. Thanks for stopping by. Nah, you're fine, man. You can really push pump gas to do a lot for you. Yeah, the low compression is easier for tuners. So, it's one of those things that people spread around the internet kind of incorrectly. And personally, even though I think it's safe for tuners, if your tuner can't handle tuning with a little bit higher compression, then he's not really a good tuner to begin with. If you have to worry about staying super low so you're not going to get knocked, then it's not a worry. It's not something I want to fuck with. Personally, I think pump gas is good for all the way up to about right around the 500 horsepower mark. After that, then you need to have higher octane. Yeah, like this, just like John said, man. There's ups and downs for every kind of setup you do, and you just have to decide what power you want to make. Yeah, Jared. Yeah, I mean, I will never try to fuck up a block on purpose. That's definitely the case. I always do the best of my abilities, and most of the shit nowadays for me is pretty commonplace anyway. It's not too challenging, so not like I'd figure there'd be a problem. Um, Chrissy, yeah, you may have heard me say a couple times 400 horsepower is 400 horsepower, which is still the case. 400 horsepower is still 400 horsepower, but how you make it throughout your power band. It's like kind of like linear, like you kind of hold the same power throughout, is pretty steady, versus low, 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 low peak. that kind of shit. And when you have higher compression, it'll be a little bit higher, more linear on that power. Because you won't. If you're running a low compression setup, you're making that power like 100% off of that turbo. Because in A, you're not getting anything. So you're gonna make that turbo work harder. The turbo is gonna take longer. It's gonna take longer for it to spool up. So at the lower compression, your car is gonna be a slouch on the bottom end. Like you won't really feel the car pick up and go until you're in boost. If you have the higher compression with the turbo, you'll have your car will be more alive under the turbo outside of boost, and it'll also get to boost faster because the engine itself is helping. The compression is helping spool that turbo up. David, I would say it's like I just said a minute ago. I wouldn't go over 13. I'm pretty sure you can still do 12 something compression with on premium. I've seen it done. I know it can be done. If John, I'm not trying to knock John's answer here with 11, but 11 still that's still plenty low. It's plenty safe. You can do OEM piston swaps and get 11.5 with no problem. Mr. Grubby, your K2083 high compression, I would say it would handle about NA. It'll handle just about the same amount of power that any other NAK would. And because I know that there's some NAKs out there that are doing 300 horsepower, but they're not. Those aren't regular engines. You don't see that happen all the time. All right, Miguel, take care. Nah, the K2083 rods. They won't. I won't say that they're not gonna break on you until you get to that 300 horsepower range, man. So if you can squeeze 240, 250, 260, maybe even 270 out of that setup, which I think is possible with with a head swap, then yeah, it'll handle that. Which is why I really want to get a review going on that K2083 that I built. I would love to have somebody build that or finish that build so I can see exactly where they go with it. I know it'll be able to handle that power. Mario, the heads on the B20 and the B18 are pretty much the same. The P75 stamp, you'll see them, they're pretty common. The B20 does have one unique head for it, and that's the P8R. So I hope that answers your question. Chrissy, I'd probably say all that shit factors into it. Boost itself isn't gonna make it explode, but your rods have a torque horsepower limit where it's it'll get okay. Let's see. Try to explain that. Okay, so what usually causes a rod knock, right? When you spin a bearing, that's usually because your the cap on your rod has been stretched off the rod. Like your bolts have started to fail because the power limit is pushing back and forth. It's just too much to start to pull apart. The bearing wiggles loose, spins inside the shit. That's how you get a rod knock. All right. Now for rod failure, exactly like bent, snapped in half, that's something more likely you'll get out of a torque issue. And so power working hand in hand there to fuck your shit up. You're more likely to get a rod knock over a bent rod or one thrown out of the block. But, generally speaking, they all start to fail around the same area. Well, I'm not talking about the intake. I'm talking about the actual the head itself, the stamp on the head. Well, you can't really say that no tune, bad tune type deal because you can have the best tune in the world and you're still not gonna your stock parts are still not gonna hold so much power. What's up, Mr. Civic? Yeah, over rev. Honestly, a lot of things, like when I tell people, 350 horsepower is what your block can handle safe, I always try to add that stipulation as long as you don't fuck up. Those you can handle those power levels fine as long as you don't, go low on your fucking fluids or misshift. A misshift will kill the fuck out of you. Now, I've misshifted with forged internals, and as long as you're not pushing it to its absolute limits, you'll be fine. But you misshift at a high level of power in a fucking stock engine, a stock internal block, you're most likely gonna lose it. Adam, you gotta be a little bit more clear on your question. Yeah, don't bounce off your rev limiter, guys. If you want to hear bouncing rev limiter, get a fucking two-step. It'll bounce you to a safe place. Yeah, I made a video on that too, Chrissy, about running on on no tune. A lot of these amateur guys out there who talk shit about how you can't do this or you can't do that, or because they did things improperly. There's no reason why you can't run stock boost D16 as long as you do it properly. And his fuel ratios must have been all kinds of fucked up. Yeah, I was talking about stock internals. Well, stock in general, that's, but I mean, even then, the same thing between stock internals or forged internals are still going to be the same shit, more or less. It's going to be able to handle more power before it blows up. But yeah, if you're fully built and you're well within the power limits of the fucking of the internals you're using, then it's most likely bad tune or bad driving. Really bad driving if you're within the safe power limits. That's why you really can't cheap out with a tune. You can't go to some guy on the corner who's going to run you up and down the street with a couple passes and pretending the tune and throw on a base map or just throw on a base map. Definitely did make a video about this. That wasn't even too long ago. Anyway, man, I'm trying to pull up a quick search real quick just to look at them, but just to say, man, as far as the B20, B18 heads go, I've only ever seen P75 or the P8R, and the P8R, the P75s are shared between B18s and B20s. The P8R has a little higher compression because it got the valves are like the same size as the VTEC heads, but I don't know, man. I don't even remember what the fuck the question was at this point. Most of them are the same. You're not really going to find any kind of differences in power from the head unless you fucking do port work. Well, yeah, I mean, to handle 25, 30 pounds, it depends on the fucking turbo size for one thing. And, of course, if you're going to run high-ass boost, you're going to be running high power and you need the parts to match the capabilities of what you're going to try to put down. No, Adam. I have a playlist specifically for D15s or D series in general. It's not a very big playlist. I would take a look at that. I've already beat to death that topic. You're not really gonna make any power stock. You gotta fucking do force induction. Just go watch those videos. They're all really short. Yeah. Of course, yes, John. That definitely comes down to how far you can take that part you're using. the last time I saw Albert rebuilding his engine for the CRX was right around the time I was still living in El Paso. So I don't know. I don't know if he had to since then. But if that's the case, I think that those Eagles held up pretty damn well for how many years he's been running that car hard as fuck. He lifts head like someone pays him. 800 horsepower. That's an insanely high power level. Um, so if the ARPs aren't holding him down, then he just needs to get something stronger material. Yeah, because your clamping force is determined by the head stud you're using. And 800 horsepower is a lot of power. Yeah, stock sleeves. Yeah, I know you can make 500 on stock sleeves. I very much intend to do so one day. So many people for so long told me that you couldn't do it, and fucking retarded, ridiculous. Oh, he sleeves on the rebuild. Yeah, I mean, I haven't, I don't stalk his fucking Facebook or anything. I only see his Facebook whenever it decides to come up on my timeline. But the last time I seen him inside his engine was when I was still living in El Paso. So yeah, even if he fucking bolted on an extra shit to it, that's still the same rods. That's pretty good. Especially if you took it up to damn near 700 horsepower. That's pretty good. GSR or Type R head. GSR for budget. Type R if you just want to go extreme. 686, yeah, it's damn near 700. It's pretty good. Oh, you were there when he was rebuilding his block? Jesus. Adam, yeah, I mean, I'd still sell motors, stock ones, if I had more to go off of. I have a B16, not B16. I have a B18 block with B16 pistons wrapped up, ready to ship. If anyone wants to buy that. No, Chrissy, I've never taken past 450 horsepower, so I've never really run into any super high horsepower building problems. And I've always used a half size radiator. Wasn't a problem for me at all. Oh, I'm lying. Yeah, I'm lying. I did have a cooling issue. I had to run my fan nonstop for whatever reason. I didn't have any leaks or anything like that, but I had to rig up my radiator fan to always run or I would start to heat up. Yeah, John, yeah, need a little more than that. Shit. Yeah, I have a page. If you go through all my videos, especially on my recent one, in the description I leave a link to all my social media accounts. Maybe if you mean by older chassis like CRX and EF because you can't position a radiator properly. My Del Sol has the one that had the heating issue. Yeah, those older chassis are a bitch. You always have to custom fab where you're gonna put the radiator. And JB Will on the fucking head. Light chassis and tight engine bays. Traction bar needing ass motherfuckers. Um, this I think that Chrissy, that question kind of plays back into something I said earlier about people underestimating what a brand new OEM things will do. Uh, if you buy brand new OEM mounts, I think it'll hold just fine. But you know, I guess it's personal preference. I've used blown out mounts a bunch of times because I'm a piece of shit cheap bastard. I wouldn't recommend doing that. No, yeah, just the micrometer. That's all you need. Because yeah, they do. They take better abuse over long term. Yeah, about the what was it about the micrometer and shit? You you measure the journals. If they're within stock limits, you buy stock bearings. All right, you stock clearances, you buy stock bearings. Um, as far as your issue goes, because you bolted it in and it won't spin, there is definitely a problem. So you gotta take you gotta take your measurement steps a bit further. You should probably get those telescopic scopes to measure the inside of the bore of the line on the mains. You know, I know this is bad news, man, but the chances are that your block is fucked in some kind of way. It's stock cranks can handle up to fucking 800 plus horsepower, so it's hard for me to believe that the crank is warped. Yeah, dude, the traction bar is the reason why I sold my CRX. I said, fuck it, can't take this shit no more. I was spending so much fucking money to keep that car together, dude, and my caster was all fucking jacked up, and it destroyed one of my transmissions. Fuck that. I don't know how you fucked the block up, but it's not spinning the crank, so something's wrong. It's definitely not supposed to be that way. And just bolting on ARP mains is not gonna cause that. I guarantee you. I built that. I built with mains before, with ARP mains before. Not a problem. Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember. It seemed to me that I remember that the K series journal sizes are a bit bigger. But I don't know if you're talking about material or whatnot. The D series are the same measurements as the B series. It just don't. Their width is different. Yeah, well, dude, I don't know what you did. You fucking clearly there's a problem. If you measured out the journals, and the only thing I can see that would be a problem is if somebody sent you the wrong bearing size, which doesn't generally happen very often, but it's possible. Which is why you need to take your measurements. You got to find out where the problem is instead of just guessing. But you clearly have an issue somewhere. I've never seen a crank seize up like that. Well, I'm lying. Once, a very long time ago, but it wasn't even my build. It was somebody else's. It wasn't his torque, John. He showed me exactly what he did. Yeah, he sent me a video link and you walked it through, and by the time he got to torquing down the third main cap, it was fucking seized. No, Christy, I don't mount a catch can at all. It doesn't hurt to have one, but it's not necessary unless you're going 500 plus. And even then, I would say it wouldn't be necessary probably until like 550. Yeah, B18 and B20 rods are the same. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. The only way I can see it being an external problem is if the bearings that he bought were oversized. No, John, I don't buy that at all. When you talk about that fucking the alignment hone or the line bore being off because of the studs, that's reaching. Like I said, I've already built one like that. I just said, hey, here's a block, here's some ARP mains, boom, no fucking problem. The only thing that sucked was, back then I was way before it's before I got as strong as I am now, so I was 80 fucking foot-pounds and that shit was a bitch. if you happen to have, like, generally speaking, I usually have some stock bearings and shit laying around from stuff that I've thrown out from an old build that I just didn't throw in the trash. If you have a set of old bearings, maybe you can slap those in and try it again. Your only hope for it being a non-block issue is if it's your bearings that somebody sent you the wrong size. A heavier flywheel gets you more torque. A lighter flywheel gets you more horsepower. I always use a light one. It may be, the box may say standard, but it might be too big. Adam, it is, but you gotta go watch those D16 videos. I'm not trying to fucking blow you off, dude, but D16 stuff is the most commonly asked questions on this channel, dude, and I have talked about it a million times. I promise you, if you go look through that playlist, you're gonna find every little piece of information you need to know. Yeah, Mario, inbox me about that, dude. Like, hit me up on Facebook, and I'll definitely talk to you about it. Yeah, John, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. It's got to be the bearings. Yeah, 12.5 pounds isn't very heavy. Because D17s are pieces of shit with no aftermarket support. Nobody builds D17s. By the time the D17s came out, it was already with the K generation. Anything in those cars you're going to put a K-Series into. And even then, the EM2 is not very easy to K-swap. Once you get to the year 2000, like, everything above that is just, it's K. You either K it or you don't really do anything to it. Well, I appreciate that, but I mean, I've checked into it. D17 has absolutely zero aftermarket support. It's definitely not something. And we, the Honda enthusiasts, are the ones that determine that shit. If there's a demand, people will make the supply, but there wasn't a demand, so that the D17 never took off. It's always been about the K since the turn of the century. Yeah, your catch can is just to help breathe. That's all it does. It's just extra ventilation for the engine. Yeah, I mean, as far as since the turn of the century single cam goes, I think none of them are worth a shit until recently now. Was it, what generation Civic we in? The 11th, 10th? And that's because they're coming stock turbo. I'm fairly certain within the next couple of years we're gonna see some of those stock single cams from Honda pushing out 300 some horsepower. And fucking, I thought I was the only one bitching about this. Of course, I should have known better. But a lot of people on the internet were complaining about the power output of the SI, and so many people talk so much shit about it that Honda released a formal statement and reasoning of why the Civic Si is low on power. And I personally call bullshit. I really think that they fucking detuned that shit on purpose so it wouldn't come too close to the power output of the Type R. So Honda right there in that statement, admitted that the Civic Si is detuned. 12th generation, are you sure about that? Pretty sure the one that came out before the new one was the 10th. Or it might have been the 9th. I can't remember. The 12 seems a little bit high. Unless we're counting the Type R being a different generation. The one they did a couple years ago is a different body style, I think, to the new one that we're getting here. Which, thank God for that, because that fucking Type R that came out a couple years ago was ugly as fuck. And that leak online showing that the fucking Type R was like $33,000 for the touring package. That's pretty good. That gives me hope that maybe once I pay my cars off, I can afford one. I would love to show that kind of brand loyalty and be able to buy a Type R. No, I've never had anything with American Muscle. I would very much like to, but I would probably put it in an import. Yeah, if I could get my hands on American Muscle, I'd like to swap one to a 240. Yeah. So anyway, the last couple of generations, anything that wasn't a K was fucking garbage. Um, Probably. I would say 4G. I think 4G is a little bit of a stretch. Um, but I know that K28.2s and shit, if you buy them from like an import place or the K28.2 equivalent, the RS6 Type S engine or whatnot, they're going to be like $2,000. I would never pay that. It's not, I mean, in today's day and age, it doesn't make any sense to spend that much money on an engine when parts are so readily available for so cheap. You can put together an engine that does way better than the Type R for fucking a fourth of the money. If it really is $4,000, a quarter of that money, you could fucking make a monster. See, 450, man, that's good. You burn the auto training with fire. Jesus. Well, I could get. I guess I could maybe. Nah, fuck that. I would not pay no fucking. Which tranny was it? Yeah, John. I think the only problem is with the A3 would be like, you can keep it beastly in A, but you go on beastly boost, it'd be you're taking a chance on those rods. Those rods are almost the same size as single cam rods. The whole point of the A3 at all being usable is just a powerful NA build, which I think it'll easily outdo a B series when done right. Okay, Captain, that makes a little more sense. I bought fucking a K24A4 for $200 in El Paso. And I let it go. I traded it out for a whole bunch of shit, which I doubled my money on. I easily doubled my money on, but I wish I hadn't done it. I should have kept that. Well, thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm glad I could help. My whole point here is to be able to inspire you people to do your own thing too, man. I know that real car freaks and real car guys, they really want to do as much stuff as they can. So hopefully I can help you guys see that it's not that hard and not that scary as some of you people may think. Because I know there's so many people out there who put people down and tell you can't do shit. Oh man, fuck those guys, dudes. Don't let anybody deter you from doing your own thing. Even people who are your friends will try and talk down to you because secretly everybody around you doesn't want to see you do better than them. It's fucking sad that it is like that. So I love to be able to be an inspiration for people to go out there and do their own thing, man. And there's still a lot of people out there who are just safeguard their information because, they either want to be superior to you or they want to make money off of you. And I don't think that any of us should be like that. I think that we should all do what we can to be open with the information we have and share it with one another. Me, John? Maybe, possibly. I don't know. I can't remember the dude's name I bought it from, but you remember Johan's shopmate that he had for a little while? Well, his little brother. It was his little brother I bought bought the engine from. Yeah, Captain, it's not too difficult to get that out of a B16. What are you doing, thief? Why you take it down? Oh. Get the fuck out of here, John. That wasn't you. There's no way that was you, bro. I've seen your pictures on Facebook. That wasn't you. No way. No fucking way. Get the fuck out of here, man. Holy shit, man. That was your fucking Del Sol? I love that piece of shit car, man. I was forced to get rid of it or I would still have it today. Motherfucker, that was you? Bro, you know there was cat shit in the bottom of that fucking car, right? Your cats were using that fucking car as a litter box. I never got it 100% good from the smell. Bro. Oh, man. That's honestly, man, I love that car. I really love that car. But that was probably one of the worst deals I ever made. I way overpaid you for that fucking car. Yeah, the Del Sol was in the garage. That car was rough, bro. The fucking suspension was bad. Yeah. Picked it up with Johan and my homeboy, and we fucking toe strapped it back to the crib. Yeah, it was a fucking cat box, bro. There was fucking poop rolling around the fucking bottom of the fucking floor. I ripped that car apart trying to clean it to get that fucking smell out. And it never was 100% gone. But just goes to show how much I wanted Del Sol. I really, 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 really wanted it. I've never, ever paid that much money for a shell, before or since. I really wanted that car. Oh, she's your ex-wife now? Yeah, your bro. We would have made that deal off rip if it wouldn't have been for your wife bullshitting. Johnny, yeah. Originally, I really wanted to put the Type R front on there, but I think I like the 2000 front enough where I'll stay. If I could ever get my hands on one for a cheap price, I would, but it's not a big priority. Yeah, it was an SI. I never got around to fix the suspension on that car, dude. I rode it like that like the whole time. It was crazy as fuck. I wouldn't do a coil pack conversion for anything unless I absolutely had to. I don't like doing extra steps. I'm a lazy bastard. I like the JD in front. I just don't like it that much to pay $900 for and then do the conversion. Blech. Yeah, all the panels were, attempted at. I mean, yeah, you can technically do that, but I don't think I would go through the effort of making an exact clone. I think just the pistons and head swap alone at the most. The GSR has the highest compression, or higher compression, which is why I always recommend the GSR head. Well, I didn't mind too much, but it was fucking ugly, dude. Yeah. That's crazy. Fucking small world. Bro, this whole fucking time didn't know it was you. You had a 2-car garage too, man. That you only had that stuff full of shit. That was fucking blasphemy, dude. Y'all should have definitely had that cleared out. That should have been a workshop. Worst marriage, motherfucker. How many times you been married, bro? Right now, my in-house garage is fucking full of my weightlifting shit, but that's because the landlord was really, being a dick about the whole not parking a car in there. Instead of fighting him on it, I just said whatever, and I have an outside garage that's pretty big, which is where I do all my engines and shit. Yeah, I bought your car, bro. Crazy shit, man. I'd say I've more or less kept the same fucking look since then. This hasn't been too long. I haven't changed that much. No, Captain. There's of course there's plenty more things that factor into the differences between the engine, but the block itself is the same. Yeah, dude. Yeah, if you go into that video where I talked about Frankenstein's, it's there. Yeah, the pistons and rods are different. The crank is different. The head, all the guts in the head are different. Yeah, I was a bit skinnier. I was still. I think I might have still even been enlisted when I met you, or no, it was just after. I put on like 60 pounds this past year. I'm still working it off. Yeah, $100 is good for fucking rods, no matter what fucking block you're getting them for. That's $100 is good. Oh, those Buck. If you're talking about the like the two holes inside on the cams themselves, those are locking pins. Like you'll notice on the cam caps towards the end, it'll have like those two little circular digit things. You can put through. You can put something in there and lock the cams in place to set timing. Yeah, that's a really neat little trick that I think only the B18s have. Yeah, yeah, that's Johnny. That's a really good price for all that shit. Yeah, dude. I've talked about that Del Sol a whole bunch of times. You should have fucking peeked around on Facebook and saw it. I think I even rocked that plate, the same plate on that car. Dude, I drove that car illegally as fuck. I had no license back at the time when I got that shit. That's why I sold it because I had no license at the time and I had to get it registered and it just wasn't happening. But I only ever got pulled over once in it from a nosy cop. If you're gonna do like a straight up K20 swap, yeah, you're gonna feel a K20A3 swap. You're gonna feel a power increase, but you're not gonna see a power increase if you try to race anybody that's got any kind of fucking decent power. Shit, at 13.5, you should have been making like 220 plus. That little blue Del Sol. I don't know what the fuck ever. Oh, the guy I wound up trade selling it to wound up fucking selling the shell because he only wanted the swap, and the shell sold to some fucking Cuban kid who put a single cam in there, and he was trying to sell it, and I wanted to buy it back so bad, man, I really did, but the guy I wound up saying some dumb shit to him because he was trying to be slick and trying to lie about some shit about the car that I knew, and I called him out on it, and he got all mad, but I would have if he hadn't been a dickhead. Yeah, dude, if you actually crack open that K20A3 and do a little bit of stuff inside, it'll definitely be more than a slight increase in power. It'll be a nice big bump. I don't know, Buck. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, that Del Sol got put through a ringer. No, you are not right. 200 horsepower on a fucking stock K28-3, even with bolt-ons, stock internals, not gonna reach 200 horsepower. I've seen full bolt-ons tune K28-3 top out at like 170 horsepower. The compression is just too low, man. It's like 9 something. It's way too low to make any big power. Maybe if you put the head on there, but even then, I really don't think you're gonna top 200. You'll probably top out at a $190. Yeah, yeah. The suspension was definitely blown. Man, I love that little shit box though. I really miss it. I want another one. Yeah, dude, all you gotta do is just get your hand on some K28-2 pistons and slap them in there, or maybe even Type R pistons. And at least that way, when you do bolt-ons and tunes, you'll have a compression jump enough where you'll make the 200 horsepower cutoff. That I'm fairly certain of. That's a big hike in power. I think it goes from 9 something to 11.1. That's a big jump in compression. Yeah, some bouncy ass shit. And I wound up fucking up the target top, man. I thought I had it locked in all the way, and I didn't. Went into boost, and that shit went like 20 feet in the air and fucking bounced all over the road. I could never take it off again after that. She was amazing. I had some kid on the side of the road. His face was just like priceless. When he saw how high that shit flew, he was like, that shit sucked. Yeah, 197. Why Wiseco, man? Fuck that noise. If you're gonna build the K28-3 with anything forged, then get forged pistons and rods and do boost. I don't see why anybody would use fucking $500 pistons for NA build. Oh god, it's disgusting. Makes me want to. $500 pistons for NA build. God. Yeah. It's crazy as fuck. 200 horsepower, here I come. Fucking shit. Yeah. Fuck that shit, dude. That was a demon. That Bud Light was put there Thursday night. One of the guys went out to drop off a truck, and one of the drivers, it was a beer truck, and the guy gave him an extra 6-pack or whatnot. I forgot to bring it in the house. I'll go get it. NA is naturally aspirated, Mr. Waldo. Yeah, that was the fucking. There's a clip of a demon. God damn, that shit's loud as fuck. Grab it, Clorox. It's good. That's a good fucking price. Oh, I mean, anything you want out of the bay, that'd be the entire swap. I think that's a little bit steep, but I don't think that's unfair price to ask for. $4 grand for everything out of the bay, dude. That axles, harness. I'd say I'd even include ECU for a full swap for a Z3. I'd say that's probably fair. I don't think I would ever do that myself though, but it's not a bad price if you have the money. Chrissy, I will do a supercharger the day one falls in my lap. I'm not they don't, again, the same thing with the D16 or D17. There's no demand for it in the Honda crowd, so they don't really make superchargers for us. And when they do, they're like $2,000, and they don't make that much power. So I probably don't think I'll do one unless somebody gives me one for free. 84K MSRP for a car that does 9. That is amazing. That's literally a world record, dude. Dodge has the fastest SUV, the fastest the fastest production SUV, the fastest production sedan, the fastest production car. You know. And yeah, dude, fucking that's the Demon has me seriously impressed. 9.7 out the box, cheaper than a GTR, cheaper than the first generation GTR that did 11s, 12s. $300 horsepower is easy, Mr. Clorox. You just gotta actually do it. Just do the build. Yeah, I'm not really too worried about mileage because I'd probably rebuild it anyway. Type R engine imported with LSD, 6B ECU harness, K49. That's expensive. I couldn't tell you exactly how much power you're losing, but you're definitely losing power, and yes, your gas mileage is gonna suck. Just buy a new intake manifold. Shit, that one you could even go to the junkyard if you really needed to. You probably are. You're once you fuck up one thing, it just kind of spiders out. You're gonna lose a whole bunch of shit. My truck has got problems, man. My truck doesn't make any power, and I still to this day too lazy to hook up to it and see what's up. I ran 750s. You can't really tell. It's depending on the exact setup of the fucking fucking single cam. But I would imagine it's gonna be in the low 100s, 130, maybe 120. Eh. Mr. Adam, lots and lots and lots and lots of research. I spend like a stupid amount of time just going over the internet and finding shit out. Even if I don't ever go and do that build, I like to know about it. So that's one thing. If you want a more detailed account of my story, I actually made a video about that. It's an hour long, and of course it doesn't talk about every single thing in my fucking life, but it talks about when I got into cars from the very first moment I got interested in the car world up until what I've been doing the last couple of months. It's a neat little story, I guess. It's called My Automotive Story. It's, you go in there, there's a picture, it's got my wife in it, and she's taking a picture, and I'm bent over a car. 550s. I made an injector video. Watch that. I don't want to misquote myself. It's actually very recent, so if you just go through my recent uploads, you're going to see it. Yep, it's like the third video of this past. I made it a week ago. Injector discussion video. Yeah, great story. Yeah, it's a neat story. Well, yeah, just keep doing your bolt-ons, man. If you're gonna do stock B20, then just do full bolt-ons and then do a tune. Yes, it does benefit to boost to tune a fucking NAB series. Yeah, you gotta stick by your guns. You gotta really know what the hell your shit's worth when you're selling it, and don't get such in a rush. You're gonna get fucked if you do that. Yeah, Chris, you want to make sure your shit is working 100% before you go to a tuner. You don't want to embarrass yourself taking a car that's not ready to go. Got the. Um, if I had GSR beer block, how would I build it? Probably the same way I do every other B series block: forged pistons, rods, boost. Unless unless I was specifically trying to do it for another way. But generally speaking, I like to go for the most power, boost. Unless I was building it for somebody else who wanted something different. Boost the world, everything. Boost, 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 boost. That's what sucks for me, man. I don't have an unlimited budget to do all these different builds. So when I every time I go to commit to doing a build, I have to go balls out because that's probably the only thing I'm gonna have for a while. Since I got out of my Del Sol about 2 years ago, I still have not had a car personally for myself that is fast. The last car that I completed was a year ago, and it got stolen right after it was completed. So I never got to even drive that motherfucker really. So that's why I'm still sitting on my Integra waiting to get it finished. Well, Mr. Mario, dude, you could do full bolt-ons tune in A. You're gonna be slow anyway. Unless you start getting to 300 horsepower plus, you can't ever consider yourself fast. So you're gonna not only you're gonna look slow, but you're gonna be slow. And that's not to be an insult or anything. I'm not saying that 200 horsepower, 200 wheel horsepower in a Honda is quick, and 200 wheel horsepower with a good driver, good sturdy chassis, it's possible for you to break into 12s. So when fast production cars are running 13s, then 200 wheel horsepower older Civic is respectable, but it's still not fast, especially if you're in a city area. There's a lot of really fast guys out there. Even when I was 450 horsepower, I didn't really consider myself one of the big boys. I was fast enough to fuck with anything I ran into on the streets, but the fast guys still couldn't touch them. I usually always use a lightweight flywheel. I did mention that a little earlier in the stream. You might have missed that. Right? Yeah, John, you're right. Wait, flywheel. Maybe I could do that. I could probably make a video on that. Yeah, Mario. If you're in Houston, you're gonna be surrounded by a lot of guys who are no nonsense. And yeah, I guess 75 shot of nitrous and a full bolt-ons. This should be decently quick. Oh, that's cool. The newer Accords are fucking nice, man. That's cool that you got that. Yeah, yeah. Do check out the D series videos. There's some good stuff there. Yeah, listen to John on that fucking nitrous shit. He's actually got experience there. If you're gonna stay nitrous. All right, take care, Buck. Peace. I don't know. I think the all-wheel drive thing is pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna do a feature on that when a friend of mine gets his done, but I don't think I would do it just because same way I don't even do LSD. I just don't. I don't really want to spend that kind of money. Yeah, it's expensive. Most of us here, even including myself, are all budget guys. So that's the kind of shit you do when you got fucking money to throw around. Honestly, the whole thing for all-wheel drive is more traction, right? More traction makes you go a little bit faster, but you also gotta consider parasitic loss too. When you're adding the extra drive shaft and all that bullshit, like you gotta make more power to make up for that loss of power through the rotating assembly. So I mean, like it's just like what I was saying earlier. There's a plus and minuses to every kind of build setup you do. So you gotta really consider where you're gonna drive that car if you really need all-wheel drive or not. Hondas Hondas don't spin like crazy if you know what you're doing and if your car is set up properly. Yeah, it's exactly what he said. There's ways around wheel spin. Proper fucking suspension, proper chassis reinforcement, proper tires, proper launch control, driving experience. Um, and besides, when you see these videos of these big rear wheel drive cars or whatnot, like launching on a fucking Honda and the Honda catches up top and then passing it, that's got nothing to do with wheel spin. That's got everything to do with the fact that there's not a lot of torque in Hondas and there's a lot of horsepower. So they don't launch very hard, but when they get into their power band, they're just fucking gone. So you don't need all-wheel drive or LSD to make that shit happen. And yeah, 40% power loss is a fucking enormous amount of fucking to lose, going through your fucking drivetrain. So if you guys got any more questions right now, would be the time to throw them out because I just got a notification from my phone saying that I got like 20% battery. I think I'm right about 10% now, so I'm gonna wrap this up here pretty soon. I'm gonna recharge my phone so I can do that video I said I was gonna make. I don't know. Maybe. No. Clutch, yes. You have to. Your stock clutch isn't going to hold much past 200 horsepower, no matter what setup you have. And axles, you don't have to really upgrade until you're like fucking insanely high in power. Or, I mean, like maybe if you're doing digs constantly and you're breaking axles, but I don't see that happening, Mr. Chris. I've used bad axles. I've used fucking axles on my fucking 400 horsepower swap where I could literally pull them apart and put them back together, and I said fuck it, YOLO. Didn't even have any popping. All right, Mr. Mario, peace. Yeah, dude. Yeah, messing me about the engine block. I love engines. Uh, um. About stages on clutches, I try not to go off the stages because stages are relative to whatever the fuck company is making the brand. Yeah, take care, David. I'm about to take off too. Yeah, I'm about to be out of here soon. So anyway, one company says this is their power limits for stage two, and another company said this is their power limits for stage two. You can classify your product whatever way you want to. There's no like general classification setting out there that all these guys look to market their shit. You can look at you can go through and look at stage two on various different brands, and they're gonna tell you different power ranges. So you really just have to get. When I search for a new clutch, I do use a lot of generic stuff. Even on that side, still, what I'll do, what I tend to look for is I put in a horsepower number. I don't put in stages. Don't let the stage thing cloud your mind. Stage 15 from XYZ clutch can hold 200 horsepower compared to a stage 2 ACT. Just look for you go through the item's description, look for the power level and torque that those things hold up to, and that's what you make your decision off of. It does exist. I just said that, but the way to classify it is based off the company. Look it up right now, man. Tell me I'm wrong. Yes, look for a horsepower rating. And technically speaking, the clutch doesn't even go off horsepower; it goes off torque. B17? You mean like the old school GSR? It depends on your setup. Generally speaking, I always use LS transmissions because boost. Yeah, Johnny, it's not that expensive to go LSV. I made a video on that. If it's got the same gearing as a B16, I would not use it on boost setup. I had a B16 train on my very first turbo setup, and it topped out way too fast. It's insanely annoying. Could you imagine you just fucking like you're in fourth gear and you push it on fucking and you hit rev limiter at like 80 miles an hour? That's insane. Taking final questions. Oh, the only people I've ever heard run through the stage bullshit a lot are fucking VW guys. Yeah, Christy, I use the 255 wall, bro. I think until you get to the high 400s, like 480 plus, that's when you just have to worry about getting a bigger pump. LSD worth it? Yeah, LSD is worthwhile, but I have had an LSD in my possession before, and I chose to sell it over keeping it. I preferred the money over the little bit of extra torque or extra grip. Oh yeah, that's true, John. That's true. I mean, yeah, if it's NA, then yeah, the B17. Made a transmission video, guys. I did. I made one. I buy used injectors. As a matter of fact, Jared here that was talking earlier, he sent me a set of injectors. Yay! Actually, sent me two sets, man. He sent me some 450 RCs and he sent me some 750 Bosches. So I got no problem at all with using old injectors. The video I plan on making this afternoon, which I guess is damn near evening, is about the 4-piston racing 500 horsepower NAK. Yeah, that 440 is pretty intense, but yeah, you might want a 700 horsepower. I mean, shoosh. Oh, Jessica. I think I know you, Jessica. You're a guy, right? You're from New York. But it seems like it's been a while since we spoke. Uh, I couldn't really tell you which specific clutches feels better. I just tend to go for whatever fuck works. Get something that's kind of close to stock, I guess. I gotta do my workout here pretty soon too. I fucking forgot about that shit. Maybe, probably. Generally speaking, I always tend to buy 750s because I don't ever want to change myself on the injectors. I don't want to be sitting there getting tuned and the tuner telling me we ran out of fuel. That would piss me off. Yeah, definitely something basic. You don't want an aggressive clutch on your fucking build if you're not making any big power. Yes, always extra on fuel setups. Always go bigger than what you think you need. That's the one of the few things on an engine build that I could not stress enough. You always want to have way more fuel supply than you think you need because you would be like a friend of mine who ran out short. Yeah, improper bleeding also. There's only one local car meet around here. And I've been past it. I've never stopped. And no, I don't go to local car meets just because of the fact that I don't have a car anymore that's worth taking out. It'd be shameful for me to show up in my truck or my wife's car, and plus it'd also be fucking depressing. It's really depressing. I've been fucking so long without a goddamn car of my own. I'm getting fucking desperate. My blood's starting to itch. I gotta get into something that's fucking stick. I'm tired of driving these fucking cars, but my wallet says I'm not allowed to have what I want. That night that I drove past that local meet, and I finally saw it. I was like, I can't take the Integra unless it's on a tow truck. That is one piece. Uh, 3,000 miles, roughly. Half a clutch. Honestly, the only thing that keeps me from mocking up the turbo kit on the Integra and really finishing it up is the fact that it's still sitting in the air. Like, the whole suspension shit really fucked me up, and I'm very, very firm and determined to make sure that I buy all new shit for this car, because this Integra will be mine for a very, very long time, if not forever. The Del Sol, like I said a couple times earlier today, I did not want to give that car up. I had no choice. The Integra is definitely something that I had an Integra for a little while in El Paso, and I was forced to get out of it because of me moving and all that good stuff. And I've always wanted another one since then, so I finally got one again, and I'm not gonna lose that car. I drug it all the way from Miami to here. I'm definitely not giving that car up. I think I've heard of CNT. Yes, 3,000 miles you can't really go bad with, especially if you're on boost. I want to say I've heard of CNT, but I've never used it. For another truck with half a clutch. That's fucking crazy. Fuck it, man. Until it stops working, how the fuck are you gonna know it's wrong? That's pretty. That's cool. I like a lot of cars. That's a big thing for me. I want so many. Like, I mean, like, for real, for real. Like, it's not just like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, for real, like a lot of cars. Yeah, it's pretty out. It's pretty out there. Right now, one of my, I really, really want an EP3. Like, I really, really want an EP3. Like, if I get one, I'll never ever let it go. I would very much like to have an RSX. I really want an EKE sedan, like a 99 2000 one. I really want one of those. I would not mind having an EG hatch again. I would not mind having an EG coupe. I would like to have a DA. I wouldn't mind having another CRX. I would like to have an EF sedan. Very much would like to have an EF sedan. I very, very much want another Del Sol again. So that's just some cars name things I would very much like to have. Well, how close are you, Boosted? We can work something out. EM2s are pretty cool too. I appreciate those. Nissan, Toyota, yeah, I would very much love to have an MR2. Like the second gen one, I think the early '90s one. I would love to have one of those MR2s. Love, 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 love to have one. As far as Nissan goes, the S13 and S14 are both beautiful chassis. I would love to have either one of those. I would the hatchback for the S13. I wouldn't mind having a older 240 Z or whatnot. The Fairlady from the back in the old days. As the GTR, I hated it at first because there was no manual version, but they've grown on me enough to where I think I would like to have one. So I would like to have a GTR. The R34, I almost re-enlisted for an opportunity to get one because I was going to re-enlist to go to Germany and see if I could get an R34 over there. So there's that. I would very much like to have an R34. That's like my ultimate goal car. The 350Z is also something I would very much like to own. G35 and 350Z were like some of my first enthusiast level, like the first cars I ever drilled over. I owned a G35 for a while that was kind of underpowered, and I had title issues, so I couldn't keep the car. But I haven't had a 350Z yet. I'd like to have one of those. EK sedans are not gross. That's blasphemy. Orlando, this is way too far. I can't buy that car. EM2 is nasty. No, 246. 300ZX sounds good to you? Yeah, fuck yeah. The Z32 is like, I would give my left nut to have that car. The Z32 300ZX is fucking beautiful, timeless, fucking masterpiece. I would love to have one of those. I think when it comes down to like ultimate fucking car, MR2 and 300ZX, those two cars are sitting like, it would be hard to choose which one to fucking go with. 7K is insane. They are, generally speaking, very expensive. I had some guy selling a shell around here for like 2K. If I had 2K, I would have went and bought it that same day. Swear to God. I love so many different cars, and that's just scratching the surface. I could go into like the newer SIs, like I think the 9th gen Civic Si sedan. I would love to have. The TL from like the earlier 2000s, I would love to get into. Some of the newer Accords I would love to drive. I would very much like to have an E46, a manual E46 BMW, the sedan. I would like to have an E36 sedan, The 3000 GT, yeah, those are pretty cool looking too, man. I'd like to fuck around with one of those. TSI, all-wheel drive turbo. I can't remember exactly what that is. FDRX7? Fuck, who the fuck would not like to have an FDRX7? Yeah, Johnny, as a matter of fact, one of my friends has a 700 horsepower K. He just dropped in an MR2. I made a feature on him a while back when he was still building it. He's still building it now, but it's damn close to being ready. I'm going to make another feature on it as soon as it's up and running. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Chrissy, the E46s are slow, but I wouldn't keep it stock. This guy likes boost. And I might even put a 2J in that sumbitch. Second gen DSM, yeah, that's that fucking Eclipse, right? The Paul Walker one. I would like to have one of those. If I seen one of those at a price I could afford, I'd grab one. Trapdoor exhaust. I mean, it's cool. I wouldn't do it just because of the fact that I'm cheap. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. I really tried to put effort into it. It didn't really pop off the way I thought it would. Yeah, I'd like to have a Civic wagon too. There was one point in time when I first came back to the States and I bought a CRX and somebody was fucking with me like, you should have bought a wagon. I was like, fuck, that's gay as shit. But then like a year or two later, I fucking was in love with the car. A Miata. Yeah, I would like to have a Miata too. That's another one I forgot to throw out there. I'd love to have one of those early 90s ones. Yep, those are cool as fuck too. The CRV. Yeah, as long as it's the first gen. I'd love to have one of those. I actually rode in one of those. It was manual. A friend of mine had one right before I moved. Great car. There's so many out there. There's so many to choose from, man. I wish, fuck, dude. If I had like Jay Leno money, where I had like or I had a budget where I could drive a different car every day, I wouldn't be buying exotic shit. It would be all common stuff, all this common stuff out there, and it would be fun if I had so much fucking money from whatever the fuck day job I could do, where I could just really just sit around and play with unlimited amount of parts and builds. I'd for sure be like doing that all the time. Well, see here, if I stay in West Virginia, that's what I was thinking. You know, I can get a big piece of property, or I can even get a fucking acre, like and like just, I would pave that whole motherfucking yard and build like an enormous fucking shop. Yeah, I like the Supra, but I mean, it's a really big, bulky car. I think if I was gonna buy a big, bulky Toyota, it'd be an SC300. I don't think that would. I mean, like, of course, if I had a stupid unlimited budget and I could buy whatever car I wanted, I'd buy an MK4 Supra. But I just don't. I like the power plant out of the Supra. I don't really like the Supra itself. And I'm not a Supra hater. I just don't see that kind of budget, that kind of money. If I was gonna buy something for 30K that was old, I'd buy an NSX. Fuck a Supra. I was in the army for 5 years. No rotaries. I will never ever touch. Not at all. I was 91 Bravo. Wheeled mechanic. Go figure. When I was enlisting, I was like, mechanic, I understand that. Let's do that. Wish I hadn't. My life would be so much different. Rotaries. Blech. Nope, I don't golf.